The technology we have now is a lot of CAD, so computer-aided drawing software, and CAM, computer-aided machining. And then recently we've added the computer-aided, welding software. So that really helps us plan welding jobs, which previously was a very tedious programming process. So those are the ones that we have that we use at the moment quite heavily. And then we're looking at adding this new software to our workshop, which we're very close to cutting over to, and that includes artificial intelligence for scheduling, and then just having a tablet in each person's hand, which will be real-time insight into what's happening in the workshop. When I first started here, we'd looked at manufacturing these parts in the robot, and one section of that was quite straightforward. It was a very repetitive task for the robot to do, and I wrote a program probably within a week to do that. And that efficiency gain just on the welding was down from a 12-hour job to about a 4-hour job. There are some jobs that are just a lot better for people to do, a lot more efficient as well. And certainly the planning and the actual construction of a lot of the parts that we get in our workshop, it really does involve people. But we can certainly take their expertise in welding and try and replicate that with a robot. So I'm forever going to the Boilermakers and saying, hey, does this look good? How can the robot weld better? And they just have that experience to know by sound and by sight how it needs to weld better. And I'm trying to capture that at least so that we can do the welding and they can hopefully do the fabrication, interpretation. Also, I think to some extent we've got a lot of experience in the work that the robot does do, so that helps us. I can try and pick their brains and really bring that over, but I think if we didn't have that, that would be a big challenge, not having people that already know how to do the jobs. You can't just put a robot where there hasn't been a person before to actually sort of teach it. So that's a very important one, but I think some of the skills can't necessarily be taught or just qualified. I think it's a large portion of it is really just the desire to learn, to try things, to experiment and not be afraid to make mistakes. It's really about the qualities that people have when they come here. So I think trying to get more people in the door to have a look and see what we do really is the big thing. And I think if they have an interest in the work, really just the variety that we have here makes it quite interesting. It's a different thing every day. So I think if they're interested in that, they'll like it. Because I think a lot of the kids that have come through have really taken something away from it. They've found the robotics interesting, and a lot of the machines that we have quite interesting. They are quite expensive machines, so it's in school they probably don't get the opportunity to see some of the things that we have here. As for advice getting started, I think just don't be afraid to make mistakes. I certainly felt when I left university like I knew everything. I quickly realised I knew very little, so having the humility to just accept that there are people out there who know a lot more than you, and that it's really valuable to just pick their brains and don't be afraid to just try things. And I don't think it counts as a mistake if you've learned from it and you've actually been able to bring that experience forward with you and make improvements. So that's certainly been really valuable for me. Personally, I'd like to, really help bring people into that Industry 4.0 and eventually 5.0 transformation, and really try and upskill the people that we have here. We've already been able to train 3 of our Boilermakers to use that welding robot, which is just something that they wouldn't really have had otherwise. I'd like to foster an environment where people really feel like they can have their input heard as well. It's really part of it. That transformation is really, it has to involve everyone. There has to be buy-in from everyone, and I'd like to be in a workplace that allows that. And that's certainly been the case with our robot so far. It was bespoke, one of a kind. It's one of the largest ABB installations in the Southern Hemisphere in terms of complexity and scale. It really was a first for the region.